You are listening to the Partner Up podcast by Welcome to Bundaberg. I'm Gail Reynolds, and in this series you will hear from community leaders who are kicking big collaborative working together goals. We will highlight the successful partnerships, shedding light on the positive impact they have had on both businesses and the community. Welcome to Bundaberg aims to improve the health and well-being, work and lifestyle outcomes for people living in Bundaberg by activating and implementing a range of community-led strategies across a range of services for a more connected, cohesive community. Let's go. Before we start today's episode, I would like to acknowledge country. I would like us to take a moment to reflect on the meaning of place and connection. In the spirit of reconciliation, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we live, work and love on. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging of all the lands, and I extend that respect to all First Nations peoples listening today. Today we have Tim Sayre from the Bundaberg District Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for joining us.
Not a problem at all.
Tell us about you, about your role in the community, about the chamber, everything and anything you want us to know.
Wow, anything and everything, and we've only got a short amount of time. Cool. So I've been the president of the Chamber of Commerce now for coming up to my second year. Second stint at this, I did a couple of years ago. The Chamber of Commerce represents the voice of the business community. We've got just over 200 members all up, which is not bad for a community of this size, but we're always looking for more members. The Chamber has three distinct things that they do. So it's about the networking that everybody knows, it's about the advocacy and representing the voice of businesses to all levels of government and others, and it's also about education for our businesses as well. So I got into the Chamber many years ago as a small business owner and kind of fell in love with the collaboration, the support, that ability to help one another to see our community grow. So for me, it's all about, my why is to help others, and I'm a big believer in our small business community and making sure that it has every opportunity to grow, thrive, and be the poster child of small business communities everywhere. So that's what drives me forward. At the moment, I'm working on projects outside of business, but still attached. So I'm the project manager with the Regional Jobs Committee here in Bundaberg, and that keeps me incredibly busy. So in the spare time is not very much, but yeah, between Chamber and that, I managed to have some very exhausting nights.
I bet. I know that particularly over the past 2 years since you become president, the Chamber has been a big part of our business life. Here at White Bay Kids we joined, and I notice, you guys are doing all sorts of different types of events at all different places. There was a boat trip out to the Musgrave. There's all sorts of things. So it's not just your standard run-of-the-mill, meeting in a boardroom type of situation.
I've never been standard run-of-the-mill with anything, but we do that so that we can appeal to different businesses, different times, do different things to encourage people to go, I wonder what that's about. So you pique the interest, you deliver on a product, and then you get them to come back and become part of the Chamber family, the Chamber voice, and grow our community in that way. So thanks for that. You guys are. It's great to see you guys come along, and you've been great supporters of us as well. So thank you.
Yeah. That's okay. I always find it very valuable, particularly the information. There's always really quality information and speakers, so that really adds to the value of becoming a member and joining and being a part of that community. So this series is all about community-centred solutions and really focusing on the positive stories of collaboration in our community. And I wanted to talk to you about that because I feel like you're a big part of really onboarding or bringing in businesses and crossing that over from public to private to government, all different levels, and amalgamating all of these different pillars in our community together. What's your thoughts on your role in that?
So the three pillars that I talk about that go with Chamber, and I said before, it's our advocacy, and these are out of different order now. So it's our advocacy, and it's our training, and it's our networking. Well, the other part that goes with that networking is that collaboration, and it's really, really important because it's that networking, that collaboration, which leads to the sharing of ideas, the sharing of solutions, and so forth. So Chamber is all about collaboration. It's what we want to do, and it's what we are doing. For us, seeing somebody come along and have a conversation with another business about, it might be a HR issue or it might be a tech issue or something like that. Somebody has been through that already. Somebody's already had an issue with a staff member that's fairly similar to what you've done. So rather than reinventing the wheel, you can get those ideas and have those collaborative moments between people where it's the sharing of the ideas and the sharing of the solutions, which helps everybody as a business come along. And then you've even got the more purer sense of collaboration when you start talking about joint ventures and partnerships and additional ideas in your business that you can do in a more traditional collaborative way. So that's an incredibly large part of any successful chamber, is about both that sharing and that collaboration, and also the ability to collaborate in a meaningful way on jobs and projects and so forth, which benefit everybody. So you take away collaboration and there's not a lot left. So big part of what we do. Yeah,
that's it. So can you recall, a project or an event or something that you've worked on recently that can demonstrate, that real partnership and collaboration, and who was a part of it, what was it, and what did it look like?
So any event that we do is collaborative in nature. So our Business Excellence Awards are a classic example of that. They only exist because of a collaboration between the chamber, the businesses, the event organisers, and the venues and that sort of stuff. There's so many moving wheels to it, and the bit that people don't realise with events such as that is it's all voluntary from our side of it. So it's a bit of a love job in that. So we work closely with Ainsley Gatley, who's everybody knows as the event coordinator here. Does a fantastic job and really understands the sort of stuff that's need to be done and goes on and that sort of stuff. And without her assistance and collaboration, it would be hard to pull on any event such as that. And it's such an important event for the whole community. We like to be able to showcase everything and everybody, and she really gets that. So for us, it's that collaboration at that level allows us to do things that as a volunteer organisation would be outside our capacity, our timings and so forth. So that's a big one. Another one that we've had recently, and this has only come about in the last week and a bit, we're actually doing some collaboration with Ergon Energy. So we went to the community cabinet that was here the other week, and Ergon have provided us with a resource so that we're able to move businesses through any power issues that they might be having, whether that's billing, usage, supply, anything like that. So the collaboration between chamber and government brings that resource and a resolution for a lot of people to the difficulty around their power bills and that sort of stuff. So that one's still a work in progress and it's growing every single day, which is good to see. But that's one of the powers around what we're doing with Chamber, is that it's that collaboration with everybody, like I said. So whether that's small businesses, government organisations, or even government at all levels. So really, really important. So hopefully that's what you were looking for, a couple of examples.
Yeah, no, they're really good examples, and two very different examples at different levels. You know, one where you actually went along to the community, what was it called? Community
Cabinet.
The cabinet.
Yeah,
community cabinet. So just even being a part of that process in itself is part of that, you know, working together, looking for solutions, and you're doing that by advocating for local businesses and the local Bundaberg community. And you've obviously been listening and hearing from the business community about the issues that they're having with their power. And so being able to talk directly to and come up with some type of solution, whether it be, you know, right now it might be this resource, and then who knows what that turns out will evolve to in the future.
And that's the importance about being in the room. That's the importance of having that collaboration with our businesses, so that they have they feel comfortable enough to share with us. They feel confident enough that we're able to push those forward, and then be in the room to develop that collaboration with all levels of government, and to get the understanding of where the pain points are, and how as a community and as a wider, you know, state-based community, we can pull those levers and do the things that we need to do to make things easier for our business community, and in turn for our community in general. And it starts with that collaboration, that confidence in the chamber, and then being in the room to be able to push those issues forward and develop that collaboration at all levels. So a lot of moving pieces to it. I had black hair when I started the process, so, you know, it's good fun. Yeah.
You mentioned before the Business Excellence Awards, and, you know, having a lot of moving pieces, and Chamber is a voluntary position for everyone on the committee, and, you know, without that collaboration with the likes of Ainsley Gatley and her business, you just wouldn't have the capacity to be able to do an event like that.
No.
What's the best thing about being able to work with other organisations or other networks or businesses like that to help achieve something?
You tap into their experience. You tap into their knowledge, their experience, expertise. They've been there and done it before. And that's what I was saying before, when, you know, we have our networking events and all that sort of stuff. People have the ability to do the same thing at various levels. It's utilising other people's knowledge, experience, and so forth. So you actually don't have to reinvent the wheel. We love to do that in business. We think we're the only one that's ever had this problem, and nobody would understand us. Well, that's a bit of a cop-out. There are people out there that have been through exactly the same thing as you. They've come out the other side, scars and all, but they've survived it. And it's that ability to collaborate and to share that experience. That's what's really important. That's one of the big things about it. And we get the same thing out of the Chamber of Commerce's BEA. Ainsley has been there, done it, and if she hasn't seen it, then it's really not a problem. So we rely on her experience and her good humour to talk us out of the trees a few times and bring us back down to, you know, normal levels. So she's invaluable in what we try and do. Yeah. People may have their own experiences of the Excellence Awards, and you know, there's been a few things over the years that we could have done differently and done better, and we're always learning from it and taking advice from others. But you know, it's a growing, moving feast, and this year's going to be no difference in the growth in that as well. Yeah,
and that's one of the important things. Like, we're all learning as we go. You know, we've never done business today.
No.
You know,
exactly right.
And we all are going through the same issues and problems, and talking to each other and learning from each other. And, you know, today's a different day, and we learn from our experiences from yesterday. We're all on that journey. So what is it that you think, when you're looking to partner or collaborate with businesses, people, what features do you look for? Like when you're having conversations or when you're in different meetings and you're thinking, oh, hang on, there's something here that I need to look further into. What is it that you look for, values or so forth?
It depends on what you want to get out of it. So there's some examples where you want to look for somebody who's got a lot of compatibility with what you're doing. And by the same token, you might want to look for somebody who's got a completely different mindset to you and challenges your assumptions going forward. So what you look for is different in each circumstance. It's not something that I don't think you can go, yep, it's that. Values certainly help. Similar sort of mindset around values is always good, but again, it comes down to the outcomes, to what you're looking to try and get. If I'm looking to do something that is going to be slightly out of the norm, so we're looking at doing some stuff with with a policy forum around certain issues in the town. Now, we're looking for things on that will be quite controversial. So I'm partnering and working with people who have a different mindset to me, just so they can challenge the assumptions that I'm putting forward for what we're trying to do. And what that does then is strengthen and improves the overall process, so that when we roll it out, it's got that robustness around it. It's been tested as much as we can, and we feel confident in where we're going to go with it. Alternatively, you get somebody who has similar mindsets, and you can grow something really, really nice and beautiful, but it again comes down to the outcomes that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a really important point, to have that diversity of perspectives at the table, and ensuring that everyone's not just thinking the same way because we've been thinking that way for a really long time and have never been challenged.
If all you're going to get is yes, and I use the term yes men, but I mean yes people in general, if all you're going to get is yes men, then you're not going to get any growth. You need people that are going to challenge you, that are going to push your boundaries and so forth in certain circumstances. And I'm really fortunate to say there is not one person on the chamber committee that I would call a yes man. We have some big personalities, and none of them are afraid to say what they're thinking. So that's really, really a great way to have an organisation, and gives me great joy to be part of that.
Yeah, that's good to know. So, what do you think the main elements that contribute to a successful partnership are?
Honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty, openness. Like I said, you've got to have an alignment of values. If somebody's prepared to do things not quite kosher, then that may not sit well with the other person, and I'm not going to say illegal, but you know what I'm saying. So the values are an important one, but the honesty, the communication, the transparency, those sort of things are really important in any partnership, whether that be in business, in life, and so forth. It's the same things. If you're going to go down a business partnership full on, you often spend more time with your business partner than you do with your life partner, but it's the same things that you need to have there. You need to be honest. So if something annoys you, you've got to have the honesty and the ability to call that. There's no point in sitting there and going, that pisses me off, but I don't want to do anything about it. So all the same things that you probably put in a successful marriage and life partnership needs to go into those business partnerships sort of things to a point. But you know what I'm saying. But honesty and communications and so forth, absolutely essential. If you've got one person who's trying to rip off another person, those partnerships will dissolve quite quickly once that's found out. So, yeah.
So what does the future look like for you around this topic? What do you think in Bundaberg? What do you think, where are we going to be? What is it going to look like? How do we get there?
Wow. With regards to collaboration?
Yeah, and partnerships and the community working together.
Yep. So, we've got some really big things coming up. So, the hospital build and then Paradise Dam and whatever may come of that. But just in those two projects alone, we're going to see a significant shift in Bundaberg itself. New workers, new businesses, business opportunities, collaboration opportunities. Workers will have workers camps. We'll have increase in housing to accommodate workers. All these sort of different mindsets and things that are going to play out over the next couple of years. And if we don't do it right, we're going to see some significant pain points in Bundaberg. So now's the opportunity for people to start looking at how these things are going to impact their own individual business. And it doesn't matter where they sit on the food chain, even if they have nothing to do with the hospital build, like they're not carpenters or whatever, there's still going to be impacts into it. And number one's going to be just the ability for the hospital project to pay more money. I don't know anybody who honestly wouldn't look at an opportunity where there's an increase in wage, right? So it's now's the time for our businesses to start saying, what do we need to do in order to partner with others so that we can share our resources and share our workforce and our talents and our skills and so forth to protect from what might happen when the hospital ramps up. It's how do you ensure that your key resources are protected and treated well? We can't pay the money that the hospital's going to pay. Right? We know that for certain. So now in our collaboration and our education space, it's about how do we prepare ourselves and how do we protect ourselves, and one of the ways that we do that is through that collaboration with others. So if it's not done in an effective way, I worryingly think that we're going to lose a few businesses on that path, and every business that we lose is a knife to the chest. Backbone of the economy, lifeblood of the economy, all those sort of things. We've got almost 97% of our businesses in this community are classed as small businesses, which means they employ less than 20 people. Right? So we don't have the big guys that will be able to absorb some of this stuff. So it's up to us as small businesses to look out for each other and protect each other. And we do that through collaboration, through the sharing of resources and experience and so forth. Looking forward, that the next couple of years are going to be very, very telling for Bundaberg. We've still got issues with the cost of living crunches and all that sort of stuff. And then on the back of all that, we'll see over the next couple of years is there's going to be that increase in going green and being green and so forth. So some more changes in there, that the only way that we're going to be able to achieve some of that stuff is through that collaboration and partnerships, and whether that's with other businesses, with larger businesses, or even social enterprises. There's a fair bit of scope in there, but this is certainly not a time when businesses can go, no, I'm all good, I'm going to be on my own. Collaboration is going to be so important for the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's a key point, that we've got all these really large projects, and we need to be thinking about, like as business owners, we need to be thinking about, well, how do we mitigate those risks that you just spoke about,
Mm.
and how do we all work together to help each other get through that, so that we're still here at the end, but we're also, you know, not only just here, but we're actually really benefiting from those projects.
There's so much money that'll flow through the community, which is a good thing, but, you know, like, I know that it's the equivalent of having a mine on our doorstep, if you like. So, you know, if we were close to the coal industry and so forth. And one of the things that we saw in other communities is that the likes of hairdressers and so forth lost out because their apprentices and their staff went and started driving trucks, because they're a lot, you know, easier on machinery and that sort of stuff. So this is not something that's only going to impact one sector. This is going to be so wide and potentially has the potential to have a fair bit of impact. So we really need to mitigate against those risks, and that collaboration, that sharing of resources is going to be paramount going forward. So we've already been suggesting to businesses, you know, open up entry-level positions, backfill people, skill people up behind them. But there's also the opportunity to share resources between businesses. So, you know, if you've got a competitor or a complementary business that has similar skills, you might be able to, you know, share a resource between the two businesses to allow you both to survive. So some of those key ones are going to be absolutely essential and important to protect.
And you mentioned there that Chamber's already started to, you know, make these recommendations, starting to have these conversations with members. Is there space then for further development, and will it be Chamber's role to help educate, I suppose, or take those businesses on that journey so that they do, so that they are prepared?
We're one off. So there's Chamber, there's state development, there's DISBIT. There's a wide range of organisations that are in that space, that are, you know, have programs and so forth to help businesses down some of those tracks. So we're working closely with Business Chamber Queensland, who have a couple of free programs for businesses as well. DISBIT has their programs. State Development are running workshops to upskill businesses in some of this stuff so that they get a good understanding and a good grasp of what's going on with it. The biggest problem we find is that everybody is so busy at the moment that they don't have time to put their head up and do some of these things. And that's probably the biggest worry at the moment, is that it's not that everybody's got their head in the sand. Busy is different to ignoring, but the end result can be the same in that you look around one day and get smacked over the head with something that you didn't expect. So, you know, we're encouraging businesses just to look up, to take advantage of some of the stuff before it's too late. Yeah. So would encourage everybody to reach out and find out what's available and what can be done next. But it's something that there's a wide scope out there at the moment. Might be there forever, but at the moment there's lots of opportunities to bring yourself up to speed and to get those additional skills and resources that we all need.
And another example of, you know, different departments, different organisations at different levels offering their expertise to help business owners get through that.
Yeah. And again, it's that collaborative process, and it's the fact that some very smart people have realised that there's some things that need to be done to protect the small business community, protect our businesses and so forth. But it's up to the business community to take advantage of some of those opportunities and some of those upskillings and so forth. And we'll get there. It's just hopefully we'll have the awareness before the hammer falls.
Thanks for joining us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add to today's episode?
Not that I can think of. I mean, we really want to encourage people to get onto that power stuff and they can tell us what their power problems are by going to the Chamber's website. We really want to make sure that come the end of whatever period we've got this resource and this collaboration with Ergon, we've heard from everybody that's got an issue with their power. Doesn't matter how big or small it is, we need people to be aware of this and get on board with it. We don't want to come to the end of whatever this period may be and people go, well, I wish I'd known about it. So I can only encourage people to give that one a look and get involved with that.
Yeah.
And help us help them.
Great.
Cool.
Thanks for joining us.
Not a problem at all.
Thank you for sticking around to the end of this episode. If you would like to listen to future episodes, you can follow or subscribe to Welcome to Bundaberg on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, @Welcome to Bundaberg.